are here at the celebration for the 100th anniversary of the Negro Leagues founding right here in historic 18th and Vine in Kansas City. The party started at 6 o'clock. You can see people are trying to come on in. People are...
Hey, that party is happening. It is happening.
6 o'clock, the party began. And then after the party component, there's a little bit of a presentation coming up at 6:30. And then at 7 o'clock, they're going to open the velvet curtain so people can check out that special exhibit featuring portraits, black baseball players in living color by Greg Kreindler. So we are really excited to be here, part of this atmosphere, part of this event. There's a lot of energy bubbling up, a lot of announcements today. And I just want to remind you, we have a commitment to a year of coverage for the Negro Leagues Centennial, including my colleague and my friend, Kevin Holmes.
Yeah, dear, you know, time stood still for a minute where you are, and it's very apropos since we're talking about the 100th anniversary of the Negro League. Such history here. We're talking about revenue sharing, free agency, night baseball. Dear, I know you know a lot of that started with the Kansas City Monarchs. It's very common play in Major League Baseball today, folks, and it all started with the Monarchs. But their creativity is away from the baseball diamond as well. They were just as creative away from the diamond as they were on the field. Remember the good old days before social media, the days of, oh man, you just had to be there. It was so great, you missed out. Well, that's what happens when you enter these doors.
Particularly if you are of African-American or Hispanic descent, they can come into this museum and they see people who look just like them, who played the game as well as anyone ever played the game. But not only did they play the game, they owned teams. They were managers. They were coaches. They were traveling secretaries, team physicians. They fulfilled every aspect of the business of the game of baseball. So I think you have to see yourself in that light if you want to aspire to do it.
Sometimes it's what you can't see that shines even more light into what made the Negro Leagues and its crown jewels so special.
We often call the Monarchs the magical Monarchs. Were they indeed magical? Like, what made them stand out from the rest of the league?
Well, first of all, they had amazing management. So the management of the Monarchs, they had connections.
Connections that extend well beyond the baseball diamond.
Hilton Smith, who backed up Satchel Paige, you know, he lived at 26 in Park, so he was like a neighbor too, and that boy's a Hall of Famer. Just neighbor, lived right down the street, around the corner.
Several of the Monarchs were just around the corner, and they laid roots across town. Catcher Newt Joseph, for example, also owned Monarch Cab, the biggest cab company for blacks in Kansas City at the time.
His first cabs were actually their cars. And then later on, he was able to, especially when he retired, he was able to get his own cab company.
Just one of many business ventures for the players, according to historian Phil Dixon.
Over in Kansas City, Kansas, Eddie Dwight, he had an ice cream shop. There's a lot of people who would probably be in their 70s now who went to the Dwight ice cream shop. Matter of fact, it was partially funded by the Kansas City Monarchs. Tom Baird and J.L. Wilkinson lent Eddie Dwight the money to establish this business. And then Billy Rogan had a tremendous pool hall down here on Vine Street. It was one of the finest billiard halls in the country. It was right here.
Business owners, civic leaders thinking outside the batter's box so that future generations can swing for the fences.
They just weren't ball players. They could touch and people could touch and feel these guys. That's why this history needs to be told.
And our coverage, our history telling of this Negro League Centennial celebration continues online. You can head to kshv.com/NLB100 or look for the link on our homepage.